Hi, this is Josh with Resort TV 1. Today we're taking you on a tour of Tom Sawyer Island at the Magic Kingdom. We hope you enjoy the video. And Tom Sawyer Island is in Frontierland in the Magic Kingdom, and of course you have to take a raft to get to the island. And the raft goes across the beautiful rivers of America. And here's the station where you wait to get on the raft. And the station is very well themed. And the decor in this area is very appropriate for the time period in which the novel Tom Sawyer was set in the mid-1800s in the Mississippi River Valley in Missouri. So now we'll wait for our raft to come across the rivers of America so that we can go over to Tom Sawyer Island. One tip for anyone visiting this island: it's a lot more pleasant to visit early in the morning or closer in the evening, but remember the attraction does close at dusk, and those times vary according to the time of the year and the time when the sun goes down. It is a lot of fun to watch the cast members so skillfully pilot these rafts right into the docks here. So now we're on the raft, and our raft is called Tom Sawyer, but they're all named after characters in the book. There's also another raft dock adjacent to the one that we're on, so during busy times they can actually cycle 3 rafts back and forth, or even 4 rafts, across the rivers of America to keep people moving. So there you see some guests getting off of that raft that just came in, and now we're off across the river for a very peaceful journey. And there are 2 docks where you can land. That's the main dock over there to the right, but it appears that we're going to the left towards the mill. So relax and enjoy the journey across the river. Now that we're on the island, we can take a look at this impressive windmill. And we'll take a look inside here in just a bit, but you can see there's a platform and a stairway leading up to the second floor. But first, let's take a look at the entry house. And when you normally come across the rivers of America from the main entrance there in Frontierland, you'll end up here. And there's some great stuff in here, some theming that's evocative of that mid-1800s time period, as well as even a checkerboard that you can play on. And I love that the checkerboard table is a barrel there. And here's Tom's personal welcome to everyone visiting the island. And here's a map of the island, and you can see it's actually 2 separate islands with a suspension bridge between the 2, which we saw on a raft ride onto the island. Now we're back by the mill, and you can see the entrance there, as well as an entrance to a cave, and we'll go in there as well. But first, let's go in the mill. I love that the equipment and the machinery inside of this particular mill are actually running, so you can really see how a mill might work. And when you come out of the mill, you actually come out on this staircase, so you get a really good view from here down to the bottom, as well as the docks where we entered the island. So let's take a look back at Frontierland and the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. And the bridge is called Little Crooked Bridge, adjacent to the mill. And you can see the stream running there through the foliage. And now we'll take a look at the mystery mine called Old Scratch's Mystery Mine. This is one of the highlights of the island in my opinion. These caves are so much fun to explore. When I was a kid, I remember going through these caves, and it absolutely made my imagination run wild, and I wanted to just keep going through them. And as an adult, I enjoy it as well, and I also enjoy the fact that they're air conditioned, and they're a pleasure to enter when it's nice and hot in the Florida summer. And I do apologize for the darkness here, but of course we are in a cave, and the lighting is a little bit sparse, so I do have the camera set on low light, so hopefully we can see well enough to make our way through the cave. So for now, just enjoy this tour of the cave, and we'll come back and point out highlights as we go. And by the way, I keep calling it a cave, but actually this is the mine. Very similar thing. But the mine is something, of course, that would have been hollowed out of the ground by man. And you've got the structural supports here to make it more authentic. You can see all the timbers, and the fact that it leans is really cool. And this room is great with the diamonds, and you've got the sound effect here, so we'll take a look at that. The water trickling down the walls is so relaxing, and of course you can see the diamond gems in the wall there. And I love the sound effect that seems to be emanating from the gems themselves. So now we'll move on with our journey through the mine. Now this is a really cool effect. The mine goes from really large and very high ceilings here to very small at the end. And it's almost like you're looking at a forced perspective type thing here, but actually the mine really does get smaller. It doesn't just appear to get smaller, it actually does, which is cool. And there is the light at the end of the tunnel, so we know that we won't be lost forever in the mine. But seriously, these mines are a lot of fun, and I highly recommend you take the time to explore them. And conveniently enough, the exit to this mine comes out right by the main dock area where the rafts come across from the other side in Frontierland. So now let's take a look at the rest of the island. I love the foliage, it's so dense and it really looks like you're in some kind of a state park or other nature preserve. It's a lot of fun. And they've got some water fountains here at the top of the hill. And they've even got some picnic tables here where you can just relax and enjoy the pleasant shade of the trees. They've also got a great kids play area here, which has a pirate theme you can see. And here's a great view of the rivers of America from the top of the hill on the island. Here's another look at the play area. Looks like a lot of fun. It almost looks like just old ship parts and things put together for a play area. So really cool theming, even though I'm not sure it completely fits with the Tom Sawyer theme of the island. It's still a lot of fun. And here you can see the stream running all the way down to the mill and into the rivers of America. Really nice touch. Here's the other side. And we'll continue on our pleasant walk through the island. We're still up on top of the hill, and you actually climb some stairs to get up here. And there are the stairs going down. And there you can see Big Thunder Mountain Railroad across the water. The nice thing is the foliage is fairly dense, so you can't really see the rest of the park very well, so you really can get immersed in this area, which is nice. But from the outskirts of the island here, you can really see across the river into Frontierland, and this is one of the best views of Frontierland in the entire park. So now we can take a look at Harper's Mill. And this sign explains Harper's Mill just a bit, and actually some of the bird sound effects that we'll hear inside the mill. Here you can see some of the machinery, and this makes this mill very realistic, and that's nice to see. And you can also hear the bird sound effect that they were talking about, as well as even see some of the birds. And here's a hint, those are not real birds, but it's neat to see the effort put into the theming there. And here you can see a directional sign that shows to the left is Hickory Switch Hill, where we just were earlier in the video, and to the right is Aunt Polly's Refreshments. So let's head down and check it out. But before we do, I want to point out this wall here. It's actually from the Tom Sawyer story, and you can see Tom professing his love for Becky, and the fence Aunt Polly had asked them to whitewash in the beginning of the story, and of course, the job never really got done. So here's Aunt Polly's, which is supposed to be a replica of what Aunt Polly's house may have looked like. And you saw on the sign that it said Aunt Polly's Refreshments. However, Aunt Polly's hasn't served refreshments in quite some time. There you can see the riverboat, which is a great ride that we'll do in another video. And here you can see Aunt Polly's itself, and you can see that there isn't any place to order food, and they used to have sandwiches and light snacks and things like that, and they've still got a great sitting area here with some rocking chairs as well as this kind of rotunda area that sticks out into the water across from Haunted Mansion. And this is one of the best views of Haunted Mansion in the park. Right across the water there, so it's a great view. And there you can see that building. You may not know this, but this is the building where Mike Fink's keelboats used to launch from. And that, I believe, closed in the 90s, but it was a lot of fun, and you could ride a keelboat around the rivers of America. They also used to have canoes as well. And here's the barrel bridge, which is a lot of fun, and I will attempt to not drop my camera here, but it's a lot of fun to go over this barrel bridge. There you can see that seating area inside of Aunt Polly's. Now I'm going to go back. You can see the sign earlier that said Tom and Huck's Way and the other way, and now I'm going the other way. But I wanted to show this beautiful waterfall rushing stream thing here, which is very pleasant and peaceful. And again, more really elaborate theming here, almost like a cabin on the side of the river. And here's Injun Joe's cave. And Tom says, don't worry, he hasn't been seen for a long time, but maybe you could worry just a little bit if you want. So we'll go through the cave here. So now let's journey inside the cave and see what we can find. This cave is even darker than the mine earlier, but you can see the light from the lanterns as we go through. And here we're getting close to one of the main rooms in the cave. And I love the eerie orange and pink and red glows emanating from different parts of the cave here. There you can see some stalactites at the top there. And I love this part of the cave because it looks like there are two faces there created by the stalactites and the different openings in the cave. And the one's got yellow eyes and the other one's got green eyes or red eyes and a green mouth there. That's pretty creative on Disney's part to make faces out of the rock formations. And by the way, I love the sound effects that make it seem like wind is rushing through the cave here as we walk through. That's really cool. And as we took a final look at the face there on the wall, we'll go ahead and journey out of that main room in the cave there. And you can see the lanterns lighting the way. But it's still pretty dark, which makes it a lot of fun to explore. You kind of have to explore with your hands in this area. And I love this room where there's this crooked bridge going over this waterway here. It's a lot of fun, and it's very peaceful and just eerie at the same time. It's such an intriguing room, and it really makes my imagination go wild. And the next room here is a lot of fun, even if it is hard to see. There are a lot of different paths through this particular room, but the one that you want to take to get out is actually all the way to the right. So just keep that in mind so you don't get too upset if you can't find your way out. It's actually really fun to kind of try and get lost in the room, but be careful because you can get turned around, and if you end up back at that bridge in that room we were just at, then you'll know that you're going the wrong way. But anyway, it's a lot of fun. So here we are heading out of that particular room, and we see the light at the end of the tunnel. So yay, again, we're not lost forever in the cave. But that cave is a lot of fun. And as we head out of the cave, you can see the shack right across from the Haunted Mansion there. So now we're going to head across the suspension bridge to the other part of the island. And as we mentioned, Tom Sawyer Island is actually two separate islands, and they're connected by this suspension bridge. But on the bridge you can get a great view of Big Thunder Mountain, one of the best in the park, as well as the geysers adjacent to the attraction. There's another great view of the Haunted Mansion, as well as the castle. So now we're on the other part of the island, and you can see Fort Langhorne. And some of you trivia buffs probably know the origin of the name Langhorne. Mark Twain's real name was Samuel Langhorne Clemens, so Langhorne was his middle name, so the fort is very appropriately named. And the fort itself has some great exhibits and just really hands-on areas and attractions for the kids to check out. It's a lot of fun, even for adults. And you can see all the gun towers there, as well as the blacksmith. And even another table where you can play checkers. And they've got some restrooms here. And there you can see another one of the rifle roosts again. And we'll take a closer look at the blacksmith shop. And inside the blacksmith shop there's some great exhibits. You can't go in, but you can look from the outside there. You can see a horse that's tail actually moves, as well as a chicken and some feed and all kinds of great stuff. There you can see two kind of crude animatronic characters there, but one of them with the Civil War uniform on is actually pumping the bellows to the blacksmith shop there, as well as you can see the horses from a different angle. And here's the guardhouse underneath one of the rifle roosts. And looking inside the guardhouse, you can see that the guard is actually asleep. So I guess if you wanted to escape, now would be a good time. And speaking of escaping, the escape tunnel here is one of my favorite parts of the fort. As a kid, I thought it was so cool you could go down the stairs and end up outside on the other side of the island. So anyway, and pretty realistic. I'm sure there were forts in the Civil War times that had escape tunnels, as well as maybe even in the Revolutionary War. So now this tunnel really is tight, so if you're claustrophobic you may want to avoid this experience, but it really is a lot of fun. And you can see how close my camera is to the walls here, because you kind of have to go sideways and kind of use your hands and just pick your way through the tunnel, but it's a ton of fun. And this tunnel is different than the other ones because you can actually see light from outside through some of the grates there. And there you can see some light at the end of the tunnel, and also you can see just how narrow this passage really is. And now you can see the exit to the tunnel, so we made it out alive. And you can also see just how narrow this exit really is, as you look at the rivers of America there in the background. And the exit is clearly marked exit, because it would be very difficult for two people to meet going opposite directions in this very narrow tunnel. And here's a very peaceful part of the rivers of America. And we'll look back towards Liberty Square. And this path takes you back towards the beginning of the island. Well, that's it for today from Tom Sawyer Island. We hope you enjoyed the video. Please remember to leave us a comment and let us know what you think. Have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Now that you've finished watching this video, be sure that you're subscribed so that you can get all of the latest updates. Also, check out some other great videos on our channel. Have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Bye-bye.